So today we're diving into a pretty intense story that's been making waves in the cybersecurity world. China's accusations that the US NSA launched cyberattacks on their national time service center. We'll cover how it all started back in 2022 with some vulnerabilities in a foreign phone brand's messaging service, then move on to the deployment of these 42 cyber tools. And finally, talk about the risks this poses to time synchronization and critical infrastructure. It's fascinating because time might seem boring, but messing with it could disrupt everything from financial systems to power grids. And we'll break it all down in a way that makes sense for everyone. Let me think, Anna. What do you make of this as our starting point?
Wait, hold on. That sounds super intriguing, Vivian. I knew cyber attacks were a big deal, but targeting something like a national time service? That's wild. And it makes me wonder how something as everyday as phone messages could lead to all this. So, basically, from what I've gathered, this all kicked off in 2022 when attackers exploited vulnerabilities in a foreign mobile phone brand's messaging app, which was used by staff at the center, right? That allowed them to steal sensitive information and gain access to internal networks. And I'm curious how they pulled that off without anyone noticing at first. Okay, that's actually really concerning. Could you explain a bit more about the initial breach and why it's such a big entry point?
Absolutely, Anna. And yeah, it's one of those things that starts small but snowballs quickly. So according to the sources we've got, like that report from Riskana and CyberSecure Fox, the attacks began in 2022 by exploiting flaws in the messaging service of this foreign phone brand. We're not naming names here since it's not specified, but you can imagine it's something widely used. This let the attackers, who China claims are from the NSA, steal sensitive employee data, which then opened the door to compromising multiple internal networks over the next couple of years. Let me think about how to put this simply. It's like if someone picked your lock to get into your house and then used what they found inside to make copies of all your keys. Suddenly, they're everywhere they shouldn't be. That's genuinely alarming, and it shows how interconnected our digital lives are these days.
Oh, that's a great analogy, Vivian. It really helps visualize how a simple phone hack could escalate so fast. I never thought about time services being a target, but now I'm realizing how critical they are for, keeping everything in sync globally. So building on that, these sources mention the attacks continued into 2023 and 2024 with repeated access using stolen credentials. What does that mean exactly in terms of the ongoing threat? That's fascinating. And it leads me to ask if there's any evidence of what they did once they were inside, beyond just the initial data theft.
You're right to ask that, Anna, because the ongoing part is where things get even more intricate. From what we've seen in sources like the Hacker News and CSO Online, after the initial breach, the attackers used those stolen credentials to keep coming back, launching activities mostly from late night to early morning Beijing time, which is a sneaky tactic to avoid detection. So over 2023 and 2024, they deployed these 42 types of cyber attack weapons to compromise networks further. But we have to be careful not to overstate things. The sources don't specify exactly what those tools did beyond gaining access. Let me think. It's like a burglar not just breaking in once, but returning multiple times with better tools each visit, potentially planting bugs or mapping out the whole house. That's really eye-opening, and it highlights the persistence of these operations.
Wait, seriously? The late-night timing is such a clever detail. That's straight out of a spy movie, but it's happening in real life. So if they're using 42 different tools, that sounds massive. Does that mean they were customizing their attacks for specific parts of the system? I'm skeptical about how they managed to keep this under wraps for so long, and it makes me think about the broader implications for cybersecurity defenses. That's wild. And I guess this ties into our next point about what these attacks could actually achieve.
Exactly, and that's a great segue, Anna. Let's dig into the deployment of those 42 tools now, as it's one of the key elements from the sources. According to reports from places like TechSpot and Purple Ops, these tools were part of a multi-stage attack, allowing the NSA, allegedly, to probe and exploit the NTSC systems over time. The sources don't give us a blow-by-blow of each tool, but they emphasize that this was a sustained effort from 2022 onwards, with the Ministry of State Security claiming it compromised internal networks repeatedly. It's like having an arsenal of 42 lockpicks. Each one might open a different door, making the whole operation more effective and harder to stop. Oh, that's actually fascinating, because it shows the level of sophistication involved, and I can see why you'd be skeptical about the defenses in place.
No way! 42 tools is just mind-boggling. It's like they had a whole toolkit for every possible scenario. So from what I can tell in the sources, this wasn't just a one-off. It was a calculated campaign. That leads me to our third story, the risks to time synchronization and critical infrastructure. I mean, if these attacks succeeded, could they have messed with how devices keep time accurate worldwide? That's really interesting. And I'm curious how that plays into things like GPS or financial transactions that rely on precise timing.
You're spot on there, Anna. And that's where the story gets even more critical. Sources from Cyberscoop and Fortune highlight that tampering with the National Time Service Center could disrupt time synchronization, which is essential for everything from internet operations to critical infrastructure like power grids and communication networks. Let's not exaggerate though. The sources talk about potential risks like precision degradation or denial of service, but they don't confirm actual widespread damage. Think of it this way. If your watch is off by even a second, it might not matter. But for systems that depend on atomic clocks for accuracy, even a tiny discrepancy could lead to big problems, like failed transactions or safety issues in aviation. That's genuinely concerning, and it makes you realize how interconnected our world is.
Okay, that's absolutely wild. I never connected time services to something as vital as aviation or finance before. So, if these attacks were successful, could they have caused a ripple effect beyond China? From the LinkedIn post and Maxthon blog, it seems like this could undermine trust in global timing systems, which is scary. I'm thinking aloud here. But what do the sources say about any potential fallout or how China responded to this?
Great question. And yeah, the implications are far-reaching. Based on the Zedaz and Beijing time sources, China's Ministry of State Security has publicly accused the NSA and is emphasizing the need for better defenses. But there is no mention of specific retaliations or confirmed impacts. This could erode international trust, as time synchronization is a global standard, and any manipulation might lead to accusations flying both ways. It's like a silent war where precision is everything, and even without direct evidence, it raises the stakes for cyber diplomacy. That makes me think we need stronger international agreements on this stuff.
That's so true, Vivian. It's like a game of chess where one wrong move could destabilize everything. Wrapping this up, I feel like we've covered the key points. The initial breach, the use of those 42 tools, and the risks involved. But just to recap, this all stems from verified reports accusing the NSA of attacks starting in 2022, and it's a reminder of how vulnerable our digital infrastructure is.
Exactly, Anna. And that's a solid summary. We've seen how a simple vulnerability snowballed into a major accusation, highlighting the need for better cybersecurity practices worldwide. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been eye-opening to explore these sources without jumping to conclusions. Remember, folks, stay informed and vigilant. We'll catch you next time with more stories. Oh, and if you have thoughts, drop us a line.
Yeah, that's been a blast, Vivian. I learned a ton, and I'm still processing how time could be such a battleground. Let's sign off here, and we'll see everyone next episode for more in-depth chats.
Perfect, Anna. Until next time, stay curious.
And stay safe out there.
Before we go, a quick word from our sponsor. And we're back. Thanks for tuning in.